thought I would come on here and do a little video that I may or may not post, just to see how it is. I'm a reseller. I've been reselling for a little over 2 years. Mostly my platform is on eBay. I sell in Macari and Poshmark and all that too. I started off my reselling journey by doing jewelry. I actually bought clearance jewelry from a department store with a gift card, and then I would turn around and I would sell that jewelry for money. I actually made about $500 one Christmas with doing that. And that started off my passion of finding things and reselling. I've always liked garage sales and thrift stores and stuff like that, for personal treasure hunting. But this actually started off my journey of being a reseller. So I did the jewelry stuff for a while. I actually worked as a consultant with a jewelry company, and I did that for a while, and I started getting a lot of jewelry from people just hearing what I was doing. And I could go to garage sales and get an entire 3 tables for $8 full of jewelry of all kinds. So I literally have a bunch of jewelry, so I have no idea what I have, but I have a bunch of it. So saying that actually brought me to doing regular resale. I started thinking, well, if I can take and find jewelry to flip and resell, what else could I find? So I did what I already loved. I went to thrift stores and garage sales and stuff like that. But I started looking not just for personal, but things that I thought might have value. Things that, were vintage or sealed in package or unique. Just different stuff. I didn't have any knowledge other than what I had started to find on YouTube. And when I first started out, I still didn't really know what I was doing. I heard these resellers that were doing really great, and I'm thinking, I have no idea how they're making this work. So I started, and I think the first thing that I flipped was a watch. I think I picked up this watch at a garage sale, and it was unique. It had an airplane on it. And I want to say I picked up this watch for $3 to $5, somewhere around there. I turned around, I put it on, I want to say it was eBay, I think. A friend of mine had told me that it had more value than I thought it did, so to price that high, which I was very leery about because I had no idea what I was doing. So I did. I priced it at $75. And I don't remember if it had shipping on that or not, but within a week, maybe 2 weeks, I had a full buy for full price at that $75 for that watch. I couldn't believe it. I was like floored. So I got it packaged up. I sent it to the buyer, and after the buyer received it, they were so happy. I got personal message back, which, by the way, is one of my biggest drives and thrills, is getting the messages from buyers that are so happy. But she had told me that her husband had this watch. Actually, probably he had the same watch 2 or 3 times. And in these 2 or 3 times, he would lose this watch. It was very hard to find. So when she saw my watch for sale, she was so excited, and she bought it for him, and they were both very happy that they found this watch again. So, that was my, wow, I could really do this type thing. So I started finding other stuff, and like a lot of resellers, And this is a tip for newer resellers, especially if you're just starting out. Within your first 6 months to a year, give or take, you're going to think that if it's free, it's for you. This is not always the case. Trust me. I would find all kind of stuff that people just wanted to give for free. Just come get it. And I ended up with so much stuff that I had no idea anything about, hardly any of it. But it was free. So what better cost of goods is there than free? Right? So I went ahead and I got these items that were free, and then I would get more items, and then I would find other stuff, maybe for $1, maybe for free, maybe whatever it was. So I ended up with an abundance of stuff, but with very little knowledge of what I was doing. So for the first 6 months, give or take, this is how it went. Then I started noticing different stuff. I noticed if I got a pallet that cost me, I think I spent $200 on a pallet from a local person. They had a store up north that had closed down, but it was more or less like a dollar store type thing. So I got all of this inventory. And when I say inventory, I'm talking like probably, I don't know, 20 boxes or more. And it was like 500 toothpicks, containers, just a lot of stuff, but very, very, very low quality items. And at first, because it was my first time doing a pallet purchase, so to speak, or a bulk sale, I thought it was going to be great. And I did sell some items out of there. But in the long run, after probably a year, I ended up donating and giving away a lot of that stuff. But I learned a lesson. I learned that just because it was new in package, just because it was in a store, did not mean that it was going to work for my business model. Because I don't want to have to hope that if I bundle enough stuff together of one item that it's going to sell, because there's so much out there from the other side of the world that is literally it's pennies on a dollar, so to speak. So it's not really worth it. It takes way too long to do what needs to be done to list and sell something, to put something that, even if you're bundling it, that has so much of a low quality that it's going to come from overseas, and somebody is going to be willing to wait to get that item that is so inexpensive. They'll wait a month or so to get it because they can get it for so cheap. So that was one lesson that I learned. Another lesson I learned is that I did my first auction. I had no idea about an auction. I had never did an auction on eBay before, other than maybe actually, being a buyer, because I had been a buyer on eBay for a very long time. Oh God, please don't let me get a ticket. But I had never actually did the auction. Like, I never did one myself. So my first auction, I had got this tea set, very cute tea set, little mini tea set. I want to say it had Winnie the Pooh on it, and it was by the maker or the artist or whatever. I remember the name started with an S, but I didn't know anything else. I didn't know about researching it enough for any of that. So I just took a chance. I stuck it on an auction. I had free shipping on it. I want to say I put it out there for $15, something like that. So I go and I do this auction, and it sells. I don't even remember how long I ran the auction for. It sells, but it sells only for that price. Okay, so I'm thinking, that's great, right? No. Because when I went to send this item, now remember, they didn't pay shipping. It was glass. It was mini tea set, which I didn't think was going to be very much weight. I didn't know enough about shipping. So I packaged it up. And because I was trying to be extra careful with it being glass, maybe I overpackaged it. I don't know. But if I'm remembering correctly, and again, this was probably a little over 2 years ago, it cost me more than the item sold for to ship the item and all. So because of that, I actually didn't make anything. I actually spent money. So the lesson in that is, be careful if you go to do an auction. I would say always put the item at the least amount that you're willing to take for it, and add at least the shipping in a decent amount. Because if you don't, you risk that same issue. Because we don't know where our buyers are going to be from. We don't know if they're going to be the next state over and it's going to be, really easy to ship to and very inexpensive, or if it's going to be across the country. We don't know that. So if we don't put shipping on something and something sells, even if it's a buy it now price, and we don't have shipping on it, we do risk the part of, we might have just sold the item and it's not even going to be, not just not worth it, but after fees and shipping and everything else, we may end up paying for the item to be taken. And that's not a good business model. So I caution you, and I know there's a lot of resellers out there that do great and they do free shipping. But to do free shipping, you have to be knowledgeable of what you're doing. You have to make sure that you're adding in those shipping charges into your item. Because if not, you're going to have the same situation. So I just caution you to research. Make sure you're doing your research. Diligence. Something else that I found is calculated shipping. You have to be careful. If you put calculated shipping on something, and again, you don't know where your buyer is at. Say you sell something from Georgia and it goes to California, and that item is over 2 pounds, and you put calculated shipping on it. That buyer could be seeing a $50 shipping on their end. And you can't see it from your end because it's showing you how much it's going to cost to go to your whatever state you are in to whatever state it's going to. It's not showing you how much it's going to cost the person that's looking at it in the state that is across the country. So I've actually had friends that have seen my store or something like that when I first started out and I had calculated shipping, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, Amy, this item says it's $55 to ship it." What? That's like crazy. We have flat rate shipping. Thank you to USPS for priority mail. And I do urge you to find out about that, because it did take me a long time to really get the grasp of flat rate shipping, and I still don't have it completely down, but I know more than I did, and that's definitely a key. But you got to be careful, because if you put calculated shipping on something, and again, you don't know where your buyer's at, and your buyer looks at your store for an item that they really want, but they see it shows $55 for shipping, they're probably just going to go to the next same item if they can find it. Or you're going to get a message from them that is not going to be a very nice message if they take the time to even do that. So I warn you to be careful about calculated shipping, because even though, and I did it, like I said, I did it myself when I started out, because when you don't understand shipping, the safety net is, well, if I put calculated on there, it's gonna calculate the shipping for the buyer, and I won't have to worry about not having enough shipping in there. That's all fine and well, as long as that shipping item is going fairly close to you. But if that buyer's across the country, that item might not get sold to that buyer that really wants it, because they're seeing a crazy astronomical price for shipping. So there's another tip for you. Let's see, something else I've learned. I have learned that do the little things. Put in that little note that tells your buyer that you're human, that you're a small business. Those personal touches is that human, what am I looking for? Human compassion. We're all human, and we all want that personal touch, that personal communication. That's the reason why that during the times of right now, where there's a lot of not gatherings and stuff like that, that social media, videos, YouTube, video chats, different stuff like that are so big, because it at least allows you to have that personal connection. You're able to talk and listen to somebody, and as humans, I think we thrive on that, a lot of us. So put in that personal touch, add in that little note. I don't care if the item is $4 or $200, just to say thank you, I appreciate you, because you are going against a lot of other sellers, especially if you're selling in items that have a huge, market, where a lot of sellers are selling the same thing you are. So you want to stand out in a good way, and you want to remind them of who you are and what you stand for. So do the little touches. One thing that I do, and I know it costs me more in tape, is that every package I do, I put tape over my address and the buyer's address. Now you may say, well, why do you do that? That's just, you're just losing money on extra tape. Because I have literally gotten items that I have bought where it almost didn't get to me, because the location had a big rainstorm or whatever it was, and the address smeared. Why did that happen? Because it got wet. So I don't know if it's helpful or not, but it's something that I do. It's a little touch. I don't point it out to my buyers and tell them, hey, I'm going to make sure that I put tape across your address. And that might be something they don't even notice. But I notice. And I know that it's my way of trying to make sure that maybe, just maybe, doing that is going to make it to where if it does rain, and God knows that we've had a lot of that, right? In a lot of different places, and then some we haven't had any. But if it does, and that package gets wet, it's going to protect. Sorry, I'm backing into my driveway for work. But it's going to protect the address. It might help, it might not, but it's a little thing. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. I just got to work, and I've got a few minutes to go clock in. I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless. Keep safe. And if you enjoyed this video and want me to do more riding to work, reselling, and chatting videos, let me know. Take care, and God bless. Bye, everyone.